General Hospital, Drew's exit, will Scout be torn from her family? General Hospital sees Drew Kane Quartermain, Cameron Matheson, ready to pack up and move himself and Scout Kane, Cosette Abinante, to DC immediately. That's one of several red flags that has fans wondering if Cameron Matheson's time is up at GH and if fans are finally going to get what they want. Drew leaves town. General Hospital, Drew Kane Quartermain's shocking exit plans. We're going to talk about how Drew plans to rip his daughter Scout away from her family and leave Port Charles for good. Is it really going to happen though? Alright, let's talk about all the red flags pointing to Congressman Cutthroat's exit. The first is obvious, everybody despises Drew on the show, and I think the majority of the GH fan base also really hates him. Lots of people keep hoping that Cameron Matheson is going to exit to focus on, his other projects because Drew is the victim in a murder mystery. That's what they're hoping. They just want to see him killed off. Why GH fans dislike Drew Kane Quartermain? I mean, let's face it. Scout's dad keeps getting worse and worse. People already hate him for the way he ruined Willow Tate's, Caitlin McMullen marriage to Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson. Since then, he's been non-stop manipulating and lying to Willow Tate. He has made all kinds of grimy moves. Drew bribed somebody at the burn clinic in Germany to lie and say Michael refused to see Willow. Plus, Drew traumatized Wiley Corinthos, Viren Weaver, by saying awful things within his earshot. He was plotting to frame Michael Corinthos as an opioid addict. He blackmailed Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, blackmailed Portia Robinson, Brooke Kerr, blackmailed Curtis Ashford, Donnell Turner, and now Drew is going after Stella Henry, Vernay Watson. Just a laundry list of awful behavior. Scout Kane, Danny Morgan, and family drama in Port Charles. But this week, Drew really iced the hate cake for fans when he demanded that Detective Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, arrest Danny Morgan, Asher Jared Antonazan, for taking his little sister Scout out of camp and over to the Q mansion. Scout asked Danny to bring her over for a visit. Drew tried to force Chase to arrest Danny Morgan right in front of Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, and Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grahn. They were both appalled. I'm sure fans are appalled too. Even Chase wasn't having it. He could tell this was just Drew's personal vendetta, another one. He shut it down. Plus, Scout asked Danny to take her to the Q's because she misses everybody there. Drew leaves Scout home with the nanny all the time while he's off doing busy congressman things and, various evil deeds. Chase refuses Drew's demands as Alexis Davis steps up. Chase absolutely refused to arrest Danny. But he did warn the teenager that if the camp had called 911, somebody else probably would have stopped his car and arrested him. Things would have gone very differently because he did take Scout away from camp without signing her out, without letting anybody know, and definitely without permission from her dad. What was really heinous was when Alexis Davis said that Sam McCall, Kelly Monaco, would want Scout Kane to be around her brother Danny Morgan and the rest of the family. We saw that Drew was just ice cold when he told Alexis that Sam's gone and he's the one who decides. That was the crux of what he said, Sam's dead. I'm the only parent around. Alexis Davis and the fight for Scout Kane. It was just kind of terrible, reminding Alexis of everything she's lost. Now, she's about to lose more because of him. Drew sunk even lower and banned Alexis, Danny, and anybody else in the family from seeing or contacting Scout from that day forward. Alexis was absolutely reeling because she adores Scout and she's all that Alexis Davis has left of Sam, who, of course, was murdered last year. She's that last little bit of Sam that Alexis Davis has. Drew plans a quick move to DC, more trouble ahead? So this week, Drew Kane Quartermain says the best thing they can do is for him and Scout to move to DC as soon as possible. Drew is ready to just pack and go no matter what Scout wants. That's another red flag. The look on Alexis Davis's face when Drew banned them and marched out was pure murder. Don't forget, Alexis Davis has killed a couple of people. She murdered the guy who killed her sister Louise Alcazar, Ted King. She ran right over the guy who had been abusing Christina Corinthos Davis, then Lexi Ainsworth. So never count Alexis Davis out. Cameron Matheson's GH anniversary sparks exit rumors. Another red flag this week is that it's the 4th anniversary of Cameron Matheson's debut on General Hospital as the Drew the recast. If Cameron Matheson were exiting, an anniversary would be a typical date. They usually write characters out or recast them at the end of an actor's contract, which usually runs in 1 to 3 year increments or 3 years with a 1-year renewal. That would align with the 4 years he's been on the show. However, despite all these red flags and fans on soap social media every day praying for Drew's murder, I do suspect he's not going anywhere, at least not for long and not right now. That would just be too easy, and it would make too many characters happy, too many fans happy. Will Drew really leave GH? Molly Lansing Davis intervenes. To me, it seems like a real long shot that Cameron Matheson is going anywhere. At most, I would say Frank Valentini might slide the character to the back burner while he plots moving away with Scout, then changes his mind. However, don't forget later this week in official General Hospital spoilers, Molly Lansing Davis, Kristen Vaganos, tries really hard to convince Drew to relent on banning Scout from the family and taking her away from Port Charles. Molly is a lawyer, so she may present a good, very calm case with clear facts that could change Drew Kane Quartermain's mind. Power players, Willow Tate, Michael Corinthos and Sonny. In one way, it definitely feels like all the ducks are in a row for Drew's exit, either for him to leave town or for something really bad to happen and he's pushing up daisies. Willow Tate has dumped him. Drew needs to be in DC for work. He wants Scout away from the family. He's ticked off more than one local crime lord, including both Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Benard, and his enforcer Jason, and Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rota. At the same time, though, Frank Valentini seems to like Cameron Matheson a lot. Behind the scenes at GH, Frank Valentini's influence and fan reactions. When a showrunner likes an actor, their character sticks around no matter how much fans hate them. Fans have been hating on Drew for quite a long time now, and Frank Valentini just doesn't care. As for some of Drew's other obstacles they may resolve. Molly may broker peace between Drew and Alexis and facilitate the Scout issue. As for Willow, I kind of feel like Drew may be able to re-gaslight her into getting back with him. Custody battles and the future of Willow Tate on GH. With Marco Rios, Adrian Anchondo urging his dad, Sidwell to reveal the judge bribe scandal to tarnish Sonny, Willow could get partial custody of her kids, if not full custody. The case will get a new judge, and they may take a very dim view of Michael's dad doing bribery. They could blame Michael and get those kids back to Willow. If she does get Wiley and Amelia Grace Corinthos, Sequoia and Serenity Mork-Mako back, and Drew somehow tries to take credit for that, that might be a huge reason Willow softens on Drew. Willow's weak-minded because she was raised in a cult, so she could totally change her mind. Monica Quartermain's exit and future twists coming to General Hospital. Also, because we know that General Hospital is doing Monica Quartermain's Leslie Charlson character death this fall, around October or November, and Erica Slezak is coming in allegedly to play her sister, it's kind of hard to imagine that Drew would leave when a Quartermain character is about to die. So, while there are many signs pointing to Drew's exit, there are just as many signs pointing to Cameron Matheson staying. Whether fans like it or not, we will update you if anything changes. For now, despite fans chanting for Drew's death, it seems like a long shot. Chase and BLQ breakup looms? Key signs point to couple swaps. General Hospital sees Brooklyn Quartermain, Amanda Seton, and her husband Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, dealing with a lot of family stress. They are being pulled closer to other people. That has me wondering if we're going to see BLQ and Chase split, with some couple swaps coming. General Hospital, Brooklyn Quartermain and Harrison Chase's marital struggles. We're going to talk about whether the stress in Brooklyn and Chase's lives, plus them getting close to their exes, is about to cause some problems. This week, we see Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, and Brooklyn focused on making things right with their son. Gio Palmieri, Giovanni Mazza, told Dante more than once to throw her under the bus and get to know Gio without her. Brooklyn thinks Gio will be more accepting of Dante that way. GH couples, are Brooklyn and Chase facing a breakup? Meanwhile, Chase is totally frustrated with his wife Brooklyn. The adoption isn't happening. She is all eaten up with stress about Gio at the same time. Willow Tate, Caitlin McMullen, is really struggling, and Chase has been a rock for her. This is all a recipe for disaster. We know, of course, there's a fan base that likes BLQ with Chase. But it's a soap opera. That means happily ever after doesn't really exist. No soap lets any couple stay together in blissful marital happiness for too long. Unless they're minor characters or rarely seen. You know how it goes. Dante Falconeri and Brooke Lynn, co-parenting issues with Gio. For front-burner characters like Brooke Lynn and her hot hubby, there is bound to be trouble. Now, we've noticed some huge red flags on General Hospital. These suggest Brooke Lynn Quartermaine and Chase might be headed for Splitsville as they get in too deep with their exes. The first red flag is Brooke Lynn has hit pause on the plans to start a family with Chase by going the route of adoption since he is infertile. Brooke Lynn feels like she needs to sort things out with Gio first. But there's been zero progress. Chase is feeling like everything's at a standstill. It's just frustrating. Nothing is moving forward, not with Gio, so therefore nothing that he wants either. Chase, Willow Tate, and the adoption dilemma. The second red flag is Dante and Brooke Lynn are getting closer. They agreed to work together to try and reconcile with their son Gio. At first, Dante and BLQ thought giving Gio space would help, but that only seemed to make him angrier. It's not the best approach. But it was the only approach they had. Now that Dante has talked Brooke Lynn into approaching Gio with them, that will keep throwing them together while they figure out how to reconcile with their son. As they talked, it turned into Dante and Brooke Lynn sharing what I think was a really sweet moment this week. The whole backstory with them having a baby is all retcon anyway. So there's plenty there for the writers to work with. Michael Corinthos, Willow, and trouble brewing in Port Charles. At the same time, the second red flag is that Brooke Lynn's husband, Chase, was with somebody else. He has been one of the few people who truly sympathizes with Willow for what she's going through with Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson, and the kids. Recently, Chase even confronted Michael about not letting Willow see Wiley and Amelia. But it's worse than Chase suspects. Michael feels like he has to protect the kids from Willow. He suspects that Willow was the one messing with baby Daisy, and Michael is 100% right. This has the potential to drive a wedge between Brooke Lynn and Chase as well. I'm going to tell you how. More red flags, Chase and Brooke Lynn's adoption disconnection. The third red flag is the disconnect between Chase and Brooke Lynn over the adoption stuff. First, Chase wants to press forward, yet BLQ is tapping the brakes. Also, Chase is having deep talks with Willow Tate about his frustrations, so he's really opening up to his ex. Chase told Willow he wants to have a child so badly. But now he's starting to think it's never going to happen. He isn't sure if Brooke Lynn can get through to Gio and fix things. That's her main obstacle to moving forward. Plus, I'm sure it's still weighing on Chase that he is unable to biologically father a child with her while his best friend Dante did exactly that. Willow's confessionals and Chase's loyalty tested. Another red flag is Chase has been there to let Willow vent and confide in him about everything going on with Michael, Drew Kane Quartermaine, Cameron Matheson, and Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros. He's listened without judgment. Chase hasn't told Willow that she's bad or has lost herself. He hasn't said anything insulting. He's been very comforting. What Chase and Willow don't know is that Michael and Dante are busy looking for evidence to nail Willow for the Daisy incidents. If they find it, Dante is likely going to arrest Willow. That's going to trigger another red flag. Chase is going to be angry at Dante and Michael. I'm sure Chase will try very hard to help Willow. I'm guessing BLQ might be Team Michael and Dante on this, which could put more stress on her marriage. Could Dante and BLQ rekindle their connection? What could be coming is Brooke Lynn and Dante Falconeri spending a lot more time together trying to get through to their son. Once they do, BLQ and Dante will be spending quality family time with Gio. If Brooke Lynn gets her maternal needs satisfied by having Gio back in her life, she may not want to pursue adoption. In fact, BLQ may reject adoption completely because of Gio. If you remember, Gio said he felt like BLQ and Dante threw him away. BLQ may not want Gio to feel like she gave him up but then went and welcomed another child into her life. So Brooke Lynn could destroy Chase's family dreams if she decides she cannot ever adopt. GH spoilers, Willow's custody battle and Sonny Corinthos drama. Meanwhile, I don't think Willow going to lose her kids forever. The Daisy and Sasha stuff could work out in a wild way. Imagine if Sidwell, Carlo Rhoda, has the info to make the custody ruling look corrupt, which makes Michael look bad. It looks like his dad Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Benard, bought the judge. That alone might balance out the things Willow has done. It seems Michael's family bought off the judge, and if Willow has her kids back and Chase is spending time with her, playing stepdad might be the next best thing to having a kid of his own. You never know if he and Willow get together. She might be open to insemination using his brother Hamilton Finn's, Michael Easton's sperm to make a baby, which was something he had floated before. General Hospital shakeups, new romances and couple swaps ahead? Michael is not going to take Willow back. She dumped Drew at the altar, so she needs a new romance in her life. Chase might see his marriage fracture because of the Geo issues and BLQ getting too close to Dante, who may soon be on Chase's enemy list over the whole Willow-Sasha-Daisy situation. What would be really wild in this is if Brooklyn and Chase split up, and he ends up with Willow. Imagine if Dante wound up with BLQ. Do you know how Lulu Spencer, Alexa Havens-Bruning, would react? She hates BLQ so badly. The idea that Dante would be with Brooklyn instead of Lulu would be interesting. Dante being with Brooklyn would make Lulu totally postal, and I would be here to see that. We'll see how it works out, but it would be extremely soapy and messy if it played out this way. We might get some couple swaps soon.